because you need a gadget. You really need a gadget and you need to buy it, but you don't know exactly what you want to buy. You don't know the brand, you don't know the compatibility of the gadget, you don't know the size, you don't also know, maybe you might not even know the amount. You just want to buy a gadget because you have some money. What is decision as explained? I explain decision as a choice made intentionally. That is the decision for the purpose of an action to be taken. And most times, people make decision without an intention. Let's just give an example of maybe friends working out and just discussing some topics, and before they jump into another topic, and somebody says, let's talk about this. Maybe you're trying to pass across a message and the message is not really getting to the person's head, and the person is like, let's talk about this. And you know that you're not done talking about such things, and you just made a choice to say, okay, yeah, so what do you want to talk about? We just change the topic and start talking about something else. That is the decision you made, but the decision you made is a choice, and the choice you made there was not intentional, and it was not conscious. It was something like it's an unconscious decision that you made, something that you didn't really thought about. It's just something that came up and you have to go with the flow. And most times we agree with that, because most times we live a life that we agree with the flow all the time. But that shouldn't be a part of a human life, because if you live a life that you always go with the flow, you tend to make mistakes, and mistakes are something that we make on a daily basis. But if you don't learn how to learn from them and correct them, it's going to be a problem in the future for you. So decision is the power of choosing a thing and intentionally standing on what you chose, and also matching it with an action based on your intention, as I said. And also, let's go to the part of indecision, which is the negative part of this decision we are talking about. What is indecision? Indecision is the power not to agree on a thing, or the power not to choose or not to make a choice, especially when there is so many possibilities. I'm going to explain it again. Indecision is the ability of not making a choice, especially when there is a mist of other possibilities. Let's give an example. You go to a store, and maybe you go to a store with a friend, or you go to a store alone. Let's say you go to a store with a friend, and let's say you want to buy a gadget, or you want to buy something for yourself. And you just go to the store and you go to the counters where they post the gadgets, and you look at these gadgets. You didn't really have what you want in mind to buy at the time. You just want to, buy what you need because you need a gadget. You really need a gadget and you need to buy it, but you don't know exactly what you want to buy. You don't know the brand, you don't know the compatibility of the gadget, you don't know the size, you don't also know, maybe you might not even know the amount. You just want to buy a gadget because you have some money, and you go to the place with your friend and like, let's take this, and you look at it. What's the specification? What is it? And the person looked at it. Maybe the person has used the gadget before, or knows somebody that used the gadget before, and they try to recommend it to you because they feel it's okay for somebody else and it should be okay for you. But because of your power of not making a choice from the start, you're going to just go with the flow. You're going to say, okay, if I know somebody that used this before, or somebody I'm with in the store knows somebody that used it before, maybe they probably would, maybe the phone or the gadgets or the tablet or whatever is going to really work for me. And most of the time, we also make these choices, even in our daily lives, even in just waking up in the morning and try to do something. You find yourself doing what you didn't even plan to do, or what you thought you wanted to do. Most times it comes, but the power of not making it intentional, the power of not deciding, and the power of not making a choice and standing firm with your choices is a result of a lot of mental laziness. I would say mental laziness, because everything starts with the mind and everything works on the brain. And for the power of choice is an emotion actually, but the power of choice is a will. It's a strength on its own that if you don't know how to master, you're going to just ruin a lot of things. Patience is a mastery. Most people struggle with patience in this life. I can't tell you people I know that struggle with patience. patience is the very thing that maybe people struggle with. People really have a hard time dealing with patience. The ability to wait for a thing to reach you, or the ability to wait for somebody to come to you, or the ability to wait for, let's say, a transaction to hit you, or the ability to wait for a thing to come or something to get. That is really hard sometimes. So ability not to have patience can also work with the ability of being indecisive, because if you're not patient enough to really make a choice for yourself, or to make the choice to wait for something intentionally, you're going to really make some irrational decisions. And rational decisions could come with the power of indecision. Indecision can come in different parts. It can come in different stage. And I know some people also have personality disorders that can come with also indecision, because there's some people that really, I won't say they're born with indecision, but their personality and their character and their charisma can really trigger those kind of characters and traits in their own personal life. So as I said earlier, I just give an example of you going to a store, trying to get something, trying to get a gadget for yourself, but really didn't plan for it, or really didn't sit down to count the cost to know really what you want exactly.